Hey there and welcome. I'm so excited to sit down with Professor Hamilton-Bleakley and talk about the how of her serving as a board member. Um, so, Holly, thank you so much for taking the time. Let's dive in.
Thank
My
you.
first question for you is one of the top things a board is in charge of is budget planning and spending. So, what do you wish voters would know about that without obviously without knowing, having reports in front of you and having all these numbers to talk about conceptually, what would you like voters to know?
Yeah, so I think the first thing to say is that the voters totally are invested in the community college because the community college is paid for with their tax dollars, right? And so, of course, they need to be interested in this in the budget and how it's used. Um, One thing I would say is that the budget needs to reflect the needs of both faculty and students, right? So a lot of times when we talk about money in college or college budgeting, people can kind of put up a kind of fight between faculty and students, right? So they can say things like, if it benefits the faculty, it will hurt the students, or if it helps the students, it might hurt the faculty. And that um, is a false narrative. So students and faculty go together. So what helps faculty will help students, right? So if we're taking care of our faculty, we are giving our students a better learning environment. So there's a saying out there that goes, faculty teaching conditions are student learning conditions. So budget wise,
Mm.
we need to be focusing on paying our faculty well, right? So that they can feel valued, respected, and fulfill their role as educators. And that helps the students. At the same time, of course, the whole purpose of community college, or one of the whole purposes, is that it's an affordable option. It's affordable for local students in local communities. Okay, so the budget needs to reflect both of those things. It needs to reflect valuing faculty by giving them competitive pay, and also valuing students by making sure that college remains affordable.
I love that. It's taking the and approach rather than the or approach,
Yeah,
which tends to
absolutely.
work really well. That makes a lot of sense. So speaking of money, again, what would you do to make community college more affordable and accessible?
So again, yeah, just making sure that that's a priority when you are looking over the budget. Like we can't lose sight of that whenever we're talking about budget issues. So again, we need to understand that these two things are the priorities, and these two things have to go together, and neither of these things can be lost. As we're focusing on other things, right? Like buildings on campus, for instance, or different programs that we want to offer. We have to keep in our minds that the priorities are affordability for students and competitive pay for faculty.
Going over to academic side, how should your community college district raise student academic achievement, and what would you do as a school board member to help accomplish that?
So again, it comes down to faculty, right? So if we're talking about the students and we want their academic achievement to be raised, the best way to do that is to have excellent faculty. Okay. So you're not going to have consistent student achievement. I mean, you might have a few students who achieve well, but you're not going to have across the board consistent student achievement if you don't have excellent faculty. Okay, those are the ones who inspire the students. Those are the ones who teach them. Those are the ones who help them achieve. So our priority has to be identifying and attracting excellent faculty and also retaining them once they get to Palomar. That is the best way to increase student academic achievement.
And it might make sense to have a professor as a voice for those faculty on the board. So that makes a
Right.
lot of sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, okay. Do you think anything currently offered in the community college district curricula, libraries or programming should be removed? If yes, what and why? And if no, why not?
So this question is one that just needs to be, it's kind of an ongoing question, right? So it would make a lot of sense for me to identify something right now in this interview, right, that should be removed. What this question reflects is a need to constantly be reevaluating the curriculum at Palomar. And so it's just an acknowledgement that, right, faculty will propose courses in a certain time to fulfill a certain need. And as time goes on, that need might not be there as much. A situation just might have changed. And so part of being a successful college is to make sure that you're continuing this process of continual reevaluation of your curriculum and what you're offering. And as a professor, that's something, right, that we do all the time. We think about what's our department offering, maybe what don't we need so much anymore, maybe what new things should we be offering. And so that's an expertise that I would bring to the board in being able to evaluate the curriculum.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for taking the time together. It's been fun exploring this topic of how with you. And in our next video, we'll have a series of rapid fire questions so we can get to know you as a person a little bit better. So see you in the next video. Thanks again.
Thanks.